Good morning, it is Friday, and strangely I'm happy that the week is almost over. It's been kind of a long one. It will be nice to have a couple days to prepare for next week and to be at the barn and to just adjust to this transition back to school. I went out last night and saw friends, which you know. I don't know if I took a picture of the tater tots and grilled cheese I had, but that was a mistake. I have not felt well pretty much for most of the night, and I think it's because I ate a strict diet of popcorn, yogurt, and burritos, and tater tots and grilled cheese are outside of the realm of that. I have all my classes short today, so it's basically covering the syllabus and starting my advanced kids into projects. That'll be good. My head today is kind of funny. I'm not incredibly anxious, I'm not incredibly sad. Everything just feels kind of fresh, like when you're very sensitive. Like I feel like I could be made to be very happy or very sad with little effort on anybody's part today. I'm kind of raw and ready for something to affect me. And that's a weird feeling. I mean, I guess it's better than being sad. I feel like the first day of school went pretty well. Kids seem good. I'm excited to work with them for the year. And yeah, my outlook feels really strong. I'm excited to actually get into the work of working. That'll be fun. I think it's gonna be good. Well, good morning again. Here begins the dash to school. I'm feeling all right. I hope today's a good day. In terms of things I have lined up, teaching-wise, day 2 is the sort of driest of days. We go over the syllabus, and I try and make it as enjoyable as possible, but we're talking about a syllabus. Who has ever in the history of classes enjoyed talking about the syllabus? We cover the full range of what weapons you're allowed to make in my class, which is none of them, but what I've enjoyed teaching is every year the list of weapons you're not allowed to make gets longer and longer as people are like, what about bow staffs? What about wooden samurai practice swords? And I'm like, no, shields are okay, swords are not, daggers are not. The list is, slingshots are not, boomerangs. The jury's still out on boomerangs. Pretty much it's this, if you can make a physics rationale for the weapon you want to make and can get a physics teacher and principal to sign off on it, like that's cool. Like, I don't care if you make a boomerang, like that's kind of awesome. The big one is always trebuchets, and it's the same answer. If the engineering teacher and a principal or vice principal signs off and says you can make a trebuchet, awesome. That'll be super fun to make one. I will take as much time as necessary to cover every possible weapon we're not allowed to make. The caveat that I got caught on a couple years ago was magical weapons. Wands, yeah, you can make wands, you know, and I had a couple kids make a bunch of like really nice Harry Potter wands and then sell them. Awesome. You know, it doesn't take a lot of wood to make a wand, so they would take scrap wood, make wands, and make money. And I thought, good for you guys. Like, that's incredible. What a nice little business. At the end of last year, kids started making spoons. And once a couple kids started, a bunch of others. So I had maybe a dozen or so kids carving spoons at the end of the year. In my first or second year teaching, I tried to do a utensils project where we did spoons or forks, you know, using the lathe and the bandsaw. And it was wildly unpopular. So if it's a student-generated idea, it gets a lot more traction than if it's a teacher-generated idea, even if it's the same exact project. What I find challenging is giving enough latitude so that people can discover these projects on their own. How do you seed the idea so that students will grab onto it and make them think it's their idea as opposed to your idea? And that's, you know, that's some upper level magical teaching that I just don't have, but aspire to. I'm really encouraged. All the classes yesterday, when everyone's on their best behavior, seemed pretty good. Going into day 2, I feel better again than I did most of the days since the breakup. I think that's good. I don't know how to do it. I'm just gonna try and capitalize on this momentum and not, what I wanna say is, and not let myself come down below here. You know, this is my baseline and I can only go up from here. I won't have low days. I probably will have low days, but I'm gonna try really hard to remember what today feels like, what the energy feels like, what my intention feels like, you know, just all of it, like carrying all the positivity forward so that when maybe I don't have all these resources, I can draw on the memory of what it was like to have them. And it's not all as sad and desperate as maybe that makes it sound, but I feel like we have to set our intention somewhere. Little stressors I'm feeling. The registration for the car is gonna expire at the end of the month, and that's in a couple days. And I guess I should just contact her and ask if she has the registration sticker. Here's what I'm doing. I'm afraid to provoke her. Even just the very technical, like, hey, do you have the registration sticker for the car? I am afraid will provoke her and upset her. given how upset she was at the end of mediation the other day. But given how she's been the whole time, this should just be a matter-of-fact thing. Like, hey, do you have this thing? Thanks. That's how she acts towards me. But no, we have to handle her with kid gloves. All of us do. Also, if I don't have the registration sticker on the car, I can't really drive the car without risk of a ticket. God knows I don't want to do that. So this is what life is now. Being utterly terrified of contacting my wife because she's so upset. All right, I'm gonna go to work. I will see you here very, very soon when work is over. Bye. And we're done. Ooh, it smells good in here. Huh. Day 2 is finished, and it was great. I feel really strong about this year. I feel great about the kids. They seem super nice and super into it, and I know everyone's on their best behavior the first few days, but they genuinely seem like a good group of people, and I'm excited to work with them this year. So yeah, can you imagine a better start to the year than that? I feel good. I feel like me. I feel strong. Oh, he's the kid that, there's the kid that got hurt last year. You might remember the video where I was really upset. He's running down the street. Cool. I'm happy he's here. Yeah, it was a good day. Man, it smells good in here. I'll check back in a second. I just wanted you to know, after day 2, I feel good. I'm excited for the weekend. I'm excited to go to the barn, but I'm excited about school too. It's, this period in time is good. And I go to therapy in a little while, and I'm excited to see her because she's great. You ever do something and think, God, that was dumb, and then get a sense of relief in that nobody will ever know you did it? That's what just happened to me, but instead I want to tell you about it. I was supposed to have therapy at 3 o'clock today, so I was gonna leave school right on the bell, change my clothes out by the car, you know, just put on a nicer shirt and some better shoes and go to therapy. She texted me and said, we do 3:15 instead, so I said, sure. So I still left school pretty close to the bell, and then I thought, I have a little bit of time, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna change at home and say hi to the dog. And then as I was driving into my house, I was like, oh, it's kind of close. Like, I don't know if this is a good idea. And I remembered that, you know, in the past few weeks, I've been a little crunched for time and felt like kept leaving a little late for therapy. So I thought, oh, I don't know, like maybe this is a mistake. But still, I drove down the 2 levels of my parking garage and I parked the car. Like, as I parked, I was like, this was a bad idea. So I got out of the car, and next to the car at my house, like in the parking garage, I changed my shirt, and then I changed my shoes, and I stood there and I was like, well, I guess I'll go to therapy. And then I got back in the car and drove out of the parking garage, and now I'm going to therapy. I just wish I had been more committal earlier. I wish I had realized, like, this is dumb, just go up there. And I thought, nobody will ever know. Like, so many of the things we do as individuals, nobody ever knows. And that's not terribly profound, but I was just like, how often do you have that experience where you make a misjudgment and then you do something like mildly embarrassing and then you're like, well, my little secret, and move on? Because that's what this experience felt like. It just felt very human. Like, whoops, I screwed up. Oh well, that's it. Not terribly profound. It was just a moment. I'm really curious as to how therapy is gonna go because I feel pretty okay. It's still pretty much like I was talking about this morning in terms of like, it's very raw and I'm very sensitive, but I'm not particularly sad or particularly lonely or particularly happy. If anything, I'd have to say I'm a little satisfied right now. I'm pleased with what teaching feels like. I'm happy to be back in the classroom. I'm happy to be working with kids. I'm excited for the outlook of the year because I think they're a good group. That's incredible. I got my advanced people working today. There's an excitement there. I genuinely love helping people come up with ideas and develop ideas and figure out how to make things. I love doing that. They're a good group. I'm excited for my advanced people. For the next 2 weeks, we'll be just working on a project it's called the 42 project. It's basically about doing something on a piece 42 times. It's about how the repetition of form or technique justifies itself within a project. There's this woman whose work I love. Her name is Hilary Pfeiffer. She makes these fairly simple little forms that are sometimes sort of rough-hewn or whatever, but they're simple. She just makes a lot of them, and then she assembles them together into these big assemblages that are incredible. And I thought, you know, we don't get a lot of chance to play in my classroom like that. So I thought, give them some time to play with form and shape and color and texture and then put it all together to be something. The grading on this project it's about their work and investment in what they do. So long as for the next 2 weeks, they work every class and they push themselves and they experiment, grade-wise, it's gonna be fine. because what they present will be the result of 2 weeks of effort. And I think that's cool, and I'm really excited about it. I did it well a couple years ago where weekend, one of the kids was like, I'm done. And I'm like, no. I was like, try this, and it was just like, it became me sort of whipping the kids forward and being like, you're not done. You have another week to work on this. So what else can you do? How can you improve it? How can you change it? How can you add layers of metaphor to it? And sometimes it makes me feel mean, like no matter what you do, it's not going to be good enough because it's a time-based thing. It's not a quality-based thing. But I think it pushed all the kids to do better work, and that is thrilling. So I'm wondering what's sort of like below the surface right now. I'm wondering what I might talk about with my therapist that will trigger something. Like the way I feel right now, I don't anticipate myself getting choked up today, but I have a funny feeling I will. I just can't anticipate where it's gonna come from. And I think that's why therapy is so incredible, because she or we manage to access things that maybe I wouldn't allow myself to access on an individual basis, or she just knows me well enough to have a sense of what we should approach. And that's special. It's incredible. Do most people have this positive an outlook on therapy? Like, do they love going as much as I love going? God, I really value the conversation. It's so good. I'm so grateful for her. Well, hey, that was awesome. I was in a really good mood. Did I break down? Yeah, I did. And I was wondering what was going to cause me to break. Honestly, what it was when she brought up the idea of family. I was talking about the barn and how much it means to me and stuff, and she was like, oh, well, they're kind of like your chosen family. And I guess just a whole bunch of emotions went across my face, and she was like, wait, what just happened there? And it's hard to put into words. What I came to realize was this. What I considered to be my family would be her, the horse, the dog. We had a family that was amazing and a life I loved. And that was my family, and I truly believe that. Sometimes people are like, oh, pets aren't family. They were. I loved the horse. I loved the dog. I loved her. And the loss of each of those things has been really, really hard, as you know. I've been going to the barn just on this blind belief that it makes me feel okay and I'll be good if I go there. Of course, I have worries that people are gonna be like, why is this guy here? He doesn't own a horse, like he just shows up. I'm afraid of being the weird, creepy guy that shows up. And towards the end of the summer, I feel like I've been somewhat accepted. I feel like people are okay with me being around. Maybe people like having me around. Like I'm not, I mean, I'm weird, of course, but I'm not like creepy weird. And that's really, it's hard to put into words how meaningful that is to me. So when she described it as sort of like a self-selected family, when she put the word family to it, definitely a bit of a trigger. Yeah. I mean, that's okay. It can be a trigger. It just reminded for me how meaningful going to the barn is and how meaningful the people are. And I hope months down the line, when this gets published, it doesn't seem weird. I hope they know how much they mean to me by then. But it's true. Everybody there means something to me for sure. So that was the emotional, that was the triggering part. By and large, the session went really well. We talked about the week, we talked about mediation, we talked about why it was hard, but also some of the victories that came out of it, just in terms of being confident enough to stand up for myself and stand my ground. And the challenge of loving someone as I loved her and spending 7 years trying to make her well, or trying to make her happy, and then going into mediation knowing the thing I'm going to say is going to make her very not happy, and how that can make you at odds with yourself. And it can be really, really hard, because when you love somebody, you want to say yes. You want to give them everything they want. You want to be kind. You know, my actions in mediation weren't specific to my like or dislike of her. They were just me trying to protect me because she isn't. It was good. You know, it was good because I'm not suffering today the way I have other days, or the way I may definitely suffer again in the future, for sure. I don't feel like I'm losing right this second. Will I feel like that in the future? Probably. She could come up with something that totally devastates me. She could take the dog. She could do whatever. But at this moment, right now, I'm all right. I'm okay right now. So it was nice to be a tiny bit social. Just to feel human. You know, and she talked a little bit about how she grows from our sessions too, and she didn't need to say that, but it was just nice to feel like it means something to her, that I'm just not some like cold person that comes in and talks and she rolls her eyes and listens and is like, oh my God, that the conversation means something. I'm glad there's meaning here, that it's not just me serving me, that there's some kind of connection. That means so much. I haven't turned the car on and it's like, I don't know, 200 degrees in here. It's super crazy hot. That's why my face looks all moist. That's a gross word. I'm gonna get some Froyo and just think about this for a bit because I want to figure out what my next move is. It's probably not a good time to go to the barn, so I'll figure out my evening. I hope you're doing good. I will see more shortly, I'm sure. So that was kind of an interesting thing. I went and I got some Froyo and enjoyed that and texted with some people. There's a whole text chain from the mediator and my wife being frustrated that my attorney didn't get back to them. So then the mediator was asking me if I would reach out and see if he's around and blah, blah, blah. And I haven't responded because I was in therapy and it's Friday afternoon and I don't have to do shit. I will respond in a little while and send an email tonight or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. Like when she can close on this property, I don't care. It doesn't affect anything. I don't care. You know, I'm done facilitating her life. I'm done trying to be nice and helpful. This quitclaim thing she wanted me to sign dropped on me. She expected I would just sign it. No, I will not. The fact that I've known about the barn for weeks, she doesn't know that I've known. She has told me nothing about it. No. She doesn't get to keep me in the dark, keep secrets, all of that, and then expect that I'm just willing to amiably go along with things. No. It's so weird that she would think that. To hold the opinion that you can be rotten to somebody and secretive and punish them and just treat me the way she's treated me and expect that I will remain doe-eyed and pliable and soft and help her. At some point she had to figure I would stop, didn't she? Or did she think she had so much control over me she would just always be able to control everything? You know, I do feel a little bit of stress because I am still empathetic and I still care and I know that she's feeling stress, but it's no longer my job or my interest to cure her stress. I'm not trying to cause her stress, but it's not my job to make it go away. It doesn't matter. She couldn't be the one to help me in my lowest time, in her stressful time. No. Let him solve it. Let him figure it out. I'm not signing anything. Oh man, I got home from therapy, sat down on the couch and passed out. Just out cold. Yeah, I'm finally getting the dog out. I guess I was just tired. You know, the first week of school, like it just requires a lot of, like it's not so much work, it just requires energy, you know, to feed the class and feed the environment and make it a thing. I think we did good. I feel really good about the week. I'm okay right now. I feel good about therapy. I was Snapchatting with my cousin tonight and I hadn't told him the story yet. I haven't really told him the story. He was like, is everything okay? You seem like something heavy's going on or you're on some spiritual journey. And I was like, hey man, yeah, it's pretty heavy. She cheated on me with him, fell in love with him, moved out and is divorcing me. So yeah, it's a bit heavy. So I took a personality test. I think I'm a good one. I'm an advocate. But what I want to show you is other people that are advocates. Look at the company I keep. Martin Luther King, Mandela, Mother Teresa, Alanis Morissette. But wait, there's more. Morgan Freeman, Jon Snow, Wilson from House, of course. Desmond, come on, from Lost? That's huge, I love Desmond. Desmond, I don't know why, that was like, oh, I love him, cool, we're the same. Yeah, okay, bye.